Good to go?
Good to go.
Everyone's here? All right. Hey, everybody out there, United States Association of Blind Athletes, family, friends, and fans. I want to welcome you guys to the very first episode of our new Facebook Live series. We are calling it The Blind Spot, and this is where we talk with blind athletes that are reaching excellence. And guys, I am super excited to welcome in our first ever guest on The Blind Spot. We have got a real treat for you today. We have got two-time Paralympian and six-time Paralympic medalist,
Yep.
Becca Meyers. So Becca, first and foremost, welcome to the Blind Spot, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and be the first guest of The Blind Spot. I can't wait to share my story with everyone.
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, just tell us a little bit about what is your eye condition? What can you see? What can't you see? And what sport class does that put you in for swimming?
So I was born with a rare genetic disorder called Usher syndrome, which means I was born profoundly deaf, and I have two cochlear implants that allow me to hear and talk to you today, Kyle. And I have an eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa, which means it's a progressive eyesight loss. And right about now, think about looking life through two coffee straws. That's how much vision I have now. I have no peripheral vision. I can't see anything below my nose, and I can't see in the dark whatsoever. And also with Usher syndrome, I have severe balance issues. So it's 3 for 1. It's a real treat, but I am handling the world as best as I can. I have a great sidekick, my seeing eye dog Birdie. She helps me get everywhere, so I can definitely count on her. And in para swimming, I compete in the S12 classification, but occasionally I swim up to the S13 classification because some events are not offered in the S12 class, so I have to swim up against more sighted swimmers. So that's definitely a challenge I love taking on.
Awesome. Yeah, I gotta say, Becca, the first time I actually ever heard about you, I was actually at the Seeing Eye back in 2016, getting my second dog, and the Seeing Eye was extremely proud that you're an alum. So, and actually, my dog, look at there, he's coming over. He knows whenever we say the Seeing Eye, he's like, hey, that's where I'm from. So no, so that was the first time I heard about you. So
what's your dog's name?
My dog is his name is Sky. So I've had him now for almost 5 years. So yeah, no, it's phenomenal organization, phenomenal school, and as you well know.
They really are. They really gave me my independence. Birdie is amazing. She travels everywhere with me. She goes on airplanes. She on trains. Yeah, everywhere.
Awesome. So I want to go kind of back to the beginning. So when did you get into swimming, and how did you get into swimming, I guess, when and how? Why did swimming appeal to you?
So I am the youngest of 3. I have an older brother and an older sister who are not visually impaired, not deaf. They don't have any disabilities. And I wanted to do everything they were doing. I wanted to try every single sport, do whatever they were doing. So I tried soccer, basketball, lacrosse, you name it. And I pretty much sucked at everything because of my vision. I couldn't see the ball. I couldn't hear other people around me. And so one summer, one of the activities that my siblings were trying when I was 5 years old was swimming. So my mom signed me up for swim lessons. I got in the pool. I fell in love with it. You could not get me out of the water whatsoever. The swim instructor said to my mom, you need to get that baby on the swim team. So the following year, I joined summer league swimming, and I never looked back. Swimming took me right into the fall. for year-round swimming. I joined a competitive club team, and I just never looked back, because when I hop in the water, I forget about my disabilities. I feel free in the water. It's
Right.
my happy place.
That's awesome. Like, so, I mean, how old were you when you started swimming? Because, like, I mean,
When I was
probably been doing this with, you were 5 years old?
5 years old, so I've been doing it for
Wow.
21 years now.
Whew, whew, that's a long time. So where is I mean, where's home for you, like, right now? Like, where's your home base? Like, where, like, where do you live and train?
So right now, I'm actually, with COVID hitting last year, I had
Mhm.
to relocate back home to Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
But before I moved back home last year, I was living in DC, in Washington, DC, training with my team, an
Okay.
all able body swim team. I was swimming with high schoolers who are striving to make Olympic trial cuts, striving to go to the Olympics. So it's a
Mhm.
very competitive group that I was training with, which motivates me to swim faster, achieve bigger goals, things like that. But since COVID hit and there's been a lot of restrictions placed in for everything for everyone, that my team has been forced to swim outside at 5:30 in the morning, and I
Whew.
can't see in the dark.
Right.
So for the last couple of months, I've been swimming on my own back home in Baltimore at a local gym, just
Okay.
trying to muddle through, train on my own. I know in a few weeks, when we spring forward and the weather breaks, I'll be back with the group.
Awesome. Awesome. So, I mean, what does a typical training day or training week look like for you? When, currently in this, in the state of our, the pandemic state, but like, when restrictions kind of loosen, does, what does a typical training day and week look like for you?
So I train 6 days a week, and 2 of those days I'll do doubles. I'll do two pool sessions, and
Mhm.
each pool session's about 2 hours long. So total, I'll swim 8 times a week, and then I have strength and conditioning. I'll be in the gym for about 45 minutes, two to
Okay.
three times a week, and then I've incorporated in the last year, as with COVID, I've incorporated a stationary bike into my training regimen. So I've been enjoying taking spin classes, and that's been a huge help. So things like that. So it's a lot of working out.
I hear you. No, we were talking before we went live, and we were just mentioning how a lot of your national teammates on the para side are here in Colorado Springs. I'm living at the Olympic Training Center, and man, like, I see how hard you guys work, and it's it's definitely, it's humbling for sure. But yeah, like, so, I mean, who would you say has been, maybe, like, your biggest influence in, maybe your life, or even your sporting life? Like, it could be the same person, or if you've had, maybe someone who's, just had a huge impact in your life. Who would you say that is?
So in my life, I would say it's my family. My
Mhm.
parents and my siblings, they allowed me to be who I am growing up. They didn't put any limits on me. They allowed me to dream big, try new things, fail, all of it. So they have been a huge, huge support in this journey for me. In my sporting life, my biggest influence, I would have to say, is Michael Phelps, because he's also from Baltimore, Maryland,
Mhm.
and he lived right down the street. His pool was right down the street, so I would
Okay.
go to swim meets, and he would be right there competing. So that was really cool to look up to him and see, if he can do it, I can do it. It was just, he's my biggest idol. So as I was when I was a young kid, so that was really cool that he lived in the area and I followed his journey, and he inspired me to dream big.
That's awesome. Now, kind of, kind of along that same thread, like, if there was like one person that you were like, I have to have it, like, if you could only have one person at a swim meet, and you're like, I can't swim without this person either on deck or in the stands, like I know they are there. Like who would that be?
I would have to say my mom and of course Birdie, my guide dog. I would have to say my mom, yeah. It's funny with Birdie when she comes to a swim meet and she
Uh,
falls asleep, I know I'm gonna have a good race. She is, yes.
I love that. When the dog falls asleep, she knows you've got it in the bag. You
Yeah.
know you got it in the bag. That's awesome. Do you have any do you have any like favorite memories from, races or, anything that really stands out to you just above everything else?
My favorite race memory is from London 2012 Paralympic Games.
Mhm.
I was competed at my first ever Paralympic Games. I was a nervous wreck. I didn't know what was happening. So I swam the 100 freestyle, and my teammate, Callie Becker, won gold, and I
Uh,
came in third. I won bronze. My first ever Paralympic medal was a bronze medal in the 100 free. And I had the privilege of standing on the podium with her, and we were both listening to our national anthem being played. It holds a special place in my heart because you can't forget about your first ever medal. You really
that's
can't.
awesome.
And to
That's
share it with
awesome.
my teammate, that made it even more special.
That's awesome. So, I mean, like what I mean that's a super special memory. What would you say has been your biggest success in, in your sporting life, or even just what has been your biggest success period? And what does success look like to you?
In my sporting life, I would have to say my biggest success came from my college years when I was competing for my college at Franklin and Marshall.
Mhm.
I qualified to compete at Division III NCAA championships in 2016. I was the only disabled athlete there, and I competed in the final of the 1650 freestyle, which is 66 laps. It's a lot of laps.
Wow,
And
that's right,
I
because that's a
played,
25-yard goal. Oh my
yes.
gosh, it's crazy.
And I placed sixth overall in the nation.
Wow,
Yes, against able-bodied swimmers. So that is my proudest accomplishment in swimming.
that's awesome. So, you know, kind of going to the other end of the spectrum, have you, I mean, look, we as athletes, we've all had struggles and for lack of a better term, failures. Has there been a time when were really struggling or down in the dumps, and how did you bounce back from that, quote unquote failure, and how do you generally bounce back from those, those tough times and those tough moments?
So when I was in college back in 2015, 2016, everything seemed so overwhelming to me. I didn't know how to live with my disabilities. I didn't know
Mhm.
how to live on my own. I was really struggling, and I had to make the decision to leave college because I just couldn't cope with it anymore. I had to take care of me. So I left college. I decided to pursue swimming full time because I'm the kind of person who likes to give it 150 to whatever I'm doing, either school or swimming. I couldn't handle doing both. It was taking a huge toll on me. So I left college. I came home. I committed to swimming full time. But over the last couple of years, I've gone back to college as a part-time student in 2018, taking classes one at a time. And then when the pandemic hit last year, I had 10 classes left till I graduated from college.
Okay.
And I decided to enroll back into school. And I can tell you today, I have one class left and I will be
All
graduating
right.
college in May. And I am so excited.
That is awesome. Congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. Trust me. That is, and be proud of that. I love hearing that. Do you have a you know, six Paralympic medals, two-time Paralympian, like, and you've done it. I mean, you hold a lot of world records. I mean, like every time you get in the pool, you mentioned that you swim up a class. Do you have just like a big, hairy, audacious goal that's kind of, in your mind that you just got your eye on, and you're like, I want to do that, and you're giving it everything you got? Like, what is that goal currently?
So,
Like, what's at the top of your list?
so right now, going into Tokyo, I have my eye on competing in 4 different events, and my goal is to podium in each and every event that I compete in. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll see what happens, but that's my goal right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What are the 4 events that you're looking to compete in?
400 free, 200 IM, 100 fly, and 100 free. Yeah,
I
yes.
can't. I mean, I'm a triathlete and I can barely swim freestyle, so I, I got mad respect for all the other strokes, and I will take a pass on attempting all of those. Do you have a favorite stroke or event? Like, what would you
I,
say is your specialty?
I love swimming freestyle. I love doing distance. I wish para offered the 800 free or the 1500 free, but sadly they only offer the 400 free. That's the longest distance I can compete in. So I love competing in the 400 free.
Man, you left it too wide open for me, Becca. Para does compete in a 750 open water swim. You just gotta bike and run after it. So when are we gonna see you in triathlon?
I don't think that's for me. I'm not
Oh,
a
come on, come on. You're already on the spin bike. I mean, come on, you're like 2/3 of the way there. No, I know it's not for everybody. Oh man, man, you're awesome. Um, why don't we get into some just some like lightning quick you know lightning quick round questions. What's your favorite post race treat?
something sweet. I have to have something sweet. It depends on the occasion, but something sweet. I definitely have a sweet tooth.
Is there something about, just diverting real quick, because you know I noticed that you and I actually have the exact same birthday. Is there something about people being born in November that we just have an incredible sweet tooth? Because I agree, like I love anything sweet after a race,
Yeah, I
whether it's chocolate milk, cake, whatever. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. All right. What's your favorite like type of music, or do you have a favorite band that you listen to?
So I have a variety of different music, pop usually, and my favorite band is One Republic.
All right. All right. Let's get into some quick rapid fire stuff here. Well, I think we all know the answer to this one, but dogs or cats?
Dogs, of course. Birdie.
Good answer. Coffee or tea?
Coffee, and I drink my coffee black.
Ah, good woman. Good woman. Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Oh, throwing a curveball at us. Sparkling or plain water?
Plain water.
Plain, really? Oh,
Yep.
okay. All right. Are you a sleep in or sleep late kind of gal?
Sleep in.
Sleep in. Yeah, you did say, no 5:30, no 5:30 a.m. swim for you.
I mean, I enjoy a 5:30 swim, don't get me wrong, but every
Yeah,
now and then it's nice to sleep in.
for sure, for sure. Do you have a favorite non-swimming activity?
I enjoy skiing, and last week I actually went on a skiing trip, and it was so much fun being back out on skis, so definitely skiing.
Oh, awesome. Where'd you go?
I went up to a local ski resort in Maryland, in Western Maryland called Wisp. I used to
Okay.
go there all the time when I was a young kid. I grew up on skis, so it was just so much fun to get back out there on skis again.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know, living in Colorado, I big time skier, but I unfortunately had a little ski accident a couple years ago. So USA Triathlon asked me to refrain from shredding some powder for the time being. But no, I'm right there with you on skiing. Um, Becca, just kind of one final question. And I like to ask people this: how do you want to be remembered? Like when you decide, when you eventually decide to retire from swimming, or how do you want to, what do you want your legacy to be? Like what is going to be the legacy of Becca Meyers?
That's a really good question. I would have to say I would like to be remembered as the athlete that came to the pool and gave it her all. I also want to be remembered as a person who was I strive to be a role model for the next generation, for young kids coming up, because I want to show them that anything's possible.
That's awesome. And I think that's a legacy that, we can all get behind. And I think you're well on your way personally. Um, all right, finally, I mean, I know you're a full-time athlete. You've got a ton of, sponsors and supporters and fans and, family and friends and all that. So, tell us who have been kind of been your big supporter, any, sponsor shout outs that you want to do. Like, I mean, look, I'm an athlete. I always love giving plugs to my sponsors when I'm on, things like this. So, tell us who's been supporting you and how you're doing.
I would love to give a shout out to my sponsor, Speedo USA. They've been great. They've been supporting me over the last couple of years as I strive for my goals, and they've been so kind in giving me a platform so that I can bring awareness to all sorts of disabilities. And yeah, so thank you.
Awesome. And then go ahead and let everybody know, how do we follow you? Like how do we keep up with Becca on, whether that
So
be social media, or, how do we follow you?
I'm on Instagram, Becca Meyers 20.
Becca Meyers 20. So at Becca Meyers 20. You guys get on the gram and give Becca a follow. Let's get her some more followers. Awesome. Well, hey, Becca, thanks so much. I really, really appreciate you coming on. And just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, we're all, you know, we're all it's been a tough year for everybody, but athletes like yourself, um, you are a role model to every blind American out there, to every American, and whether they have a disability or not. So just thank you for your time, and thank you for representing our country on the biggest athletic stage. And I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
Well, thank
So
you for having me on the show. I really enjoy being here and being able to share my story with everyone.
awesome. All right, you guys. Thank you again so much, everybody, for tuning in. I know our producer extraordinaire has been keeping an eye on the comments and stuff. So, Kat, do we have any comments or questions that came in from the audience while we were on the air? And maybe if Becca is open to it for staying on for 2-3 more minutes, maybe we can answer a couple audience questions.
We do, Kyle. We have one audience question for Becca, and it's from Dan. And his question is, Becca, can you explain your process of approaching the wall for turns?
That is a great question. So I have enough vision where I can see straight ahead and I can follow the black line at the bottom of the pool. And when you're approaching the wall, there's often a T very close to the wall. So when I see the T, I know I'm about 2 or 3 strokes away from the wall, from either touching the wall or flipping. And then I usually count my strokes. So when I get to stroke 42 in backstroke, I know, okay, there's 4 more strokes till I hit the wall.
Perfect. That covers our audience questions. So thanks, Becca.
Thank you so much, Becca. Again, really appreciate you being here. And guys, thank you all for tuning in, and spread the word. We're going to try and make the blind spot a regular thing every couple of weeks. So thank you. Let's give a warm standing ovation to our first ever USABA blind spot guest, Becca Meyers. And you go, Becca. Go Team USA. We're signing off.